A nation is made of not just land. A nation is made of its people. You have to know about the people. People of the world are demanding the constitutional rule. Give us rule according to the constitution is the cry of people of the world. But today, there is abundant intolerance. I don't like your dress. I don't like your food. I don't like your color. I don't like your language. I don't like your religion. I don't like your caste. We came from different language formals. We came from for different purposes. We all live together in this country. We have intermingled in this country. Therefore, in India, we don't want Hindu Rashtra. The Dalits, the women, the minorities are treated in this country as secondary-rate citizens. They are subjected to exploitation. The next target will be lawyers, please remember. Terrorism, fundamentalism, communalism, corruption, criminalization, cultural degeneration are the challenges before the country. Even now, these challenges are continuing. Elections are being fought on the basis of religion, caste, money, and muscle power. In the present parliament, that is 19th Lok Sabha, 82% elected parliament members, according to the affidavits filed by them, are crorepathi's. 43% are facing criminal charges, and some of them, nearly 20% and above, are facing serious criminal charges. If they are convicted, they have to face sentence of either death sentence or life sentence. Government of India appointed Swaminathan Commission. In 2012, we submitted a report. 10 years is over. Till today, the parliament has no time to open that report and place it before the parliament and debate either to accept or reject. Agriculture crisis is not being debated. Industrial crisis is not being debated. Attacks on Dalits are not being debated. Atrocities on women is not being debated. 2 years back in Karnataka, there was a coalition government. They had the majority. Election did not held, but majority government lost majority. How? Some political parties in hereafterwards, they will not contest elections. They will only buy the elected members. With this type of parliamentary democracy, is it possible for us to save the constitution? You cannot criticize the government. You cannot question the government. If you do so, you will be arrested either UPA Act or under the sedition. They didn't stop there. In UP, when a person participated in a democratic protest, bulldozers were rolled on his house. At one point of time, king is the law. But today in a democratic, constitutional country, law is the king. But unfortunately, now again we are going back to king is the law. Have you heard any news anytime regarding National Human Rights Commission behavior? State Human Rights Act action? No. Even Supreme Court is going back. Sedition law is pending before the Supreme Court. No time. Article 370 abrogation is before the Supreme Court. No time. Citizenship Amendment Act is pending before the Supreme Court. Supreme Court has no time. Yes, today you have seen the papers. During the regime of present Chief Justice, 4,000 cases are settled in 1 week. Why not these cases, sir? Their day may come. The government may think that it is not possible to run a parliament, therefore we will outsource it to Ambanis. It is not possible to run assemblies, we will outsource it to Adanis. Firstly, we have to understand how constitutions came. Then only we can be able to save the constitution. It is my experience in Karnataka. Most of the trial lawyers at the district and taluka level, they don't bother to read constitution. They think that it is the job of advocates in High Court and Supreme Court. But you must remember, Constitution is the mother of all laws. If you know mother, it will be easy to know all other laws. Therefore, the first principle is you must know about the Constitution. What is meant by political power? The power to make law, the power to execute law, the power to punish the law violators. If these three laws are put together, then that is called as political power. At one point of time, this power was in the hands of Samrats, Chakravartis, and Raj Maharajas. They used to enact the law, they used to implement the law, they used to punish the law violators. This is how all these three powers were concentrated in one person. In course of time, we put an end to Samrats, Chakravartis, Raja Maharajas. In its place, we brought political democracies. In political democratic system, the power to enact law entrusted to legislative. The power to implement law entrusted to executive. The power to punish the law violators came to be entrusted to the judiciary. This is how the legislative, the executive, and the judiciary independent institution came into existence. Out of 199 countries in the world, nearly 190 countries are having their own set of political democracies. In course of time, people experienced that legislative, executive, and judiciary behaving arbitrarily according to their whims and fancies. I give one small example how the legislative arbitrariness is. You know, all of us, we know, in day to day, we gave arti to the God. Correct? Whether it is clockwise or anti-clockwise. Arti to the God, whether it is clockwise or anti-clockwise. Clockwise. If some headless persons come to the legislative and they enact a law that from tomorrow onwards, all the people have to take arti in the anti-clockwise, then what do you call it? Legislative arbitrariness. Legislature pass the law, but the executive will implement in one district 100%, in another district 50%, in another district they don't implement. What do you call this? Executive arbitrariness. Like that, we see the judiciary also behaving arbitrarily. If X kills Y and X is found to be guilty, if the court gives a sentence of death penalty, we all can accept because he has murdered Y. But if some poor man commits a theft of a small orphanage, can you give death penalty? If a court gives death penalty, do you accept it? No. This is judicial arbitrariness. When this arbitrariness was rampant, people realized that we have to check them. We have to control them. We have to bring them to an order. Therefore, rules came to be framed according to which the legislative have to work. Rules came to be framed according to which the executive has to function. Rules came to be framed according to which the judiciary has to function. This is how rules to the legislative, executive, and judiciary came to be framed. With that, they defined your rights. They defined your duties. They defined what is center, what is state, what is their relationship, on what basic features a country is to be built. Whether democracy or dictatorship or authoritarianism, whether secularism or theocratic society, whether a meritorious society or a social justice society. Like this, rules came, rights came, duties came, relationships came, jurisdictions are defined, basic features are defined, and all these if put together, then it comes as a constitution. This is how constitutions have come into existence throughout the world. Most of the countries in the world are having their own constitutions. People of the world are demanding the constitutional rule. Whether communists come, whether BJP come, whether Congress come, whether DMK comes, whether Anna DMK comes, no matter, give us rule according to the constitution is the cry of people of the world. People of the world are expressing their desire to read their constitutions, understand their constitutions, and live up to that expectation. This is the global scenario today. In this background, we have to see what we are in Indians. In 1947, we got independence. In 1950, by accepting world's biggest written constitution, India became republic. Here I want to make it one thing clear. All independent states are not republics, but all republics are independent states. Take for example, England is an independent country much earlier to independence of India. But till today, England is not a republic. The reason is they don't have a written constitution. In 1947, we became independent. In 1950, by accepting the world's biggest written constitution, we became a republic. Therefore, India is both an independent country and a republican country. This constitution came into force way back in the year 1950. We have completed 72 years. Now we are in 73rd year. But our governments failed to teach, to tell, and to create awareness among the general masses about the constitution. We as citizens, we also failed to apply our inclination to read the constitution. Despite this drawback, we have completed 73 years. Some 2 decades ago, at the persuasion of National Legal Services Authority, the government introduced the constitution as a topic in education at college level. There also it is not satisfactory. Physics teacher teaching constitution, PT teacher teaching constitution, I have seen in Karnataka in many number of universities, in many number of colleges. Students are also reading constitution for just marking tick mark, just for scoring 35-40 marks, not from the point of understanding the constitution, imbibing the constitutional values, and live up to the constitutional philosophy. This is the situation in the country. In this background, it is necessary for us to read the constitution, to understand the constitution, and live up to the constitutional values. This is very, very important to everyone else, and more so to the community of advocates. In this background, if you know how the constitution has come, then you will be able to understand why we are required to save the constitution. If we lose the constitution, we will go back to the feudal system of Samrats, Chakravartis, and Raj Maharajas. Therefore, it is necessary for us that we should not go back to such feudal system. If we want to live up in democratic system, it is necessary for all of us to read the constitution, understand the constitution, and live up to the constitutional values. This is how constitution becomes important, and this is how we are required to save the constitution. But if we read the Constitution of India, the original text, in any language, either in English, or in Hindi, or in Tamil, or in Kannada, or in Malayalam, even if we read 10 times, you will not be able to understand the Indian Constitution. Then what is the mechanism to understand? What is the methodology to understand? My first principle is, without understanding India, it is not possible to understand Indian Constitution. Long time ago, a Telugu poet said, Deshamante matti kadoy, Deshamante manusuloy. A nation is made of not just land. A nation is made of its people. You have to know about the people. In my school days, my teacher has taught us what is India means. On the north, there is Himalayas. In the south, there is Cape Comorin. On this side, there is Bay of Bengal. On this side, there is Arabian Sea. In between, there is Vindhya Mountains and perennial rivers. This is what my teachers have taught me about India. Anything difference is taught by your teachers to you? Whether this is India? No. India means we, the people of India. We have to know the people of this country. Knowing people of the country means what? We have to know about their history, about their roots, their political, economic, social and cultural relationship, their languages, their subcultures and the values they cherished. If you know all these things, then you will be knowing about India. I will give you within 2 minutes what is history of India. A minimum understanding of these things is sufficient to understand the Indian Constitution. First thing is, we have to remember, India history is divided into 3 parts for the purpose of easy understanding of a common man like you and me. Ancient Indian history, medieval Indian history, modern Indian history. Prominently in ancient Indian history, commences from Indus Valley civilizations to middle of 10th century AD. During this period, Mauryas, Guptas, Kanishkas, Harshavardhanas prominently ruled this country. Medieval India means middle of 10th century to middle of 18th century. During this period, Huns, Turks, Afghans, Khiljis, Sultans, Turks, Mughals ruled the country. Then what is modern India? Middle of 18th century to till today, this is called as modern Indian history. During this period, we will come across in Indian history Portuguese, Dutch, French, Britishers. 1947 freedom of India. 1950 India became republic. 2022 September 17th, where we are? We have got 2 lights, One is tube light, another is bulb light. The moment if you put a switch, which light ons? Whether tube light or bulb light? Bulb light. Tube light? Little late. Correct? I asked a simple question. 2022 September 17th, where we are? Bar Council Convention Hall. Nobody answered it. Therefore, it is clear that all of you are tube lights and not bulbs. If you know this much of history, then we will be knowing what is meant by Samrats, what is meant by imperialism, what is meant by Chakravartis, what is meant by feudal system. If you know all that, then if you enter into the Indian Constitution, you will be able to understand what is democracy in the Indian Constitution. Is it possible to understand democracy without understanding monarchy, without understanding feudalism, without understanding colonialism? No. If you understand that, then you will be able to understand what is democracy under the Indian Constitution. Then what are our roots? Who is my father? My grandfather? My great-grandfather? Unless we know about that. See, yesterday I had been to Kanchi, because my Gotram is Kanchiurayal Gotram. My ancestors used to tell that we migrated from Kanchi to Kolar. Therefore, with that connection, I went yesterday to Kanchipuram. From my father's side, my father, grandfather, great-father were all devotees of Shiva. In our Kolar district in Karnataka state, we observe Monday as the fasting day by Shiva devotees. I don't know whether they prevail in parts of Tamil Nadu or not. My father got married a lady from Venkateshwara devotee family. For Venkateshwara devotees, the weekly fasting day is Saturday. Look, in my house, Monday and Saturday came joined together. My father is Monday, my mother is Saturday. We were all children. During my childhood, I saw my mother was the only lady in my house because my grandmother died, my grandfather died by the time my mother came to my father's house. My father was self-respected lady, little jabardast lady. Her command is to run in my house. What she did, slowly she converted my Monday weekly fasting day to Saturday. All my cousins in my village, they observe Monday, but our family observes only on Saturday. We keep that aside. I married a lady from Chittoor district in Madanapalli. My wife, after marriage, we started our family in Bangalore because I was practicing in Bangalore. 7-8 months is over. I didn't understand my lady. If any experienced persons are there, please tell me, sir. If you have understood your lady within about 8-10 months, even now I have not understood. We are coming to 1 year nearer, then I realized I have got a fasting. Because my wife did not observe Monday as fasting day. Then I thought she may not be devotee of Shiva family, maybe Venkateshwara family. She may observe on Saturday. Then I waited up to Saturday. Didn't observe. Monday night, Saturday night. There was a trend in old Mysore area. All the ladies used to shift to Thursday. Raghavendra Swami devotees. Then I also waited up to Thursday. No fasting. Monday night, Saturday night, or Thursday night. Kis jungle se laya hai is avrat ko. After nearly 1 year, I realized that my wife became 1 year old in my house. She started quarreling with me and she makes to galata with me and she protests not preparing food. That is fasting day for her. When I told my family secret, all of you laughing like this. But you must remember, in every house, dosa is tooth-in dosa. In my house, dosa is safe. Your house in dosa is safe. Why I told this? When my mother shifted from Monday to Saturday, when my wife did not observe a fasting day, we did not quarrel each other. We did not make galata. We did not beat each other. We did not file divorce petitions. We loved each other. We respected each other. We accommodated each other. We gave birth to children. Today we are having grandchildren. This is tolerance in India. If this tolerance is possible in my house, why not in my village? Why not in my district? Why not in my state? Why not in my country? But today, there is abundant intolerance. I don't like your dress. I don't like your food. I don't like your color. I don't like your language. I don't like your religion. I don't like your caste. Without realizing these things, we are exhibiting intolerance. That is where exactly Constitution protects the tolerance in our culture, in our country. Without understanding this, it is not possible to go. This is one. Second thing is, we have got a caste system here. By birth, I will get a caste. My caste is attached with an occupation. I can't change my caste. I can't change my occupation. It is not just that. All the caste people cannot dine together. They can't intercaste. There is no intercaste marriage is forbidden. Not only that, even dead bodies are not buried in one burial ground. To that religion, one burial ground. To this religion, another burial ground. To this caste, another. That caste, another. Some other caste. They didn't stop there. They prescribe. A cobbler's son has to become a cobbler. Haircutter's son has to become a haircutter. A washerman's son has to become a washerman. A farmer's son has to become a farmer. This In this caste system, there is political inequality, economic inequality, social inequality, cultural inequality. In Indian context, upper castes are also upper class. Lower castes are also lower class. If we go in search of more illiterates, unemployed, unhealthy, houseless, landless people, you will find in large number in lower castes. Therefore, in Indian context, caste is also class. If we don't understand this caste inequality, is it possible to understand the social justice philosophy under the Indian Constitution? This is how, my friends, you have to enter the Constitution and understand the Constitution. Without understanding the Constitution, it is not possible to save the Constitution. In order to save the Constitution, it is our duty to read the Constitution and understand the Constitution. This is very, very important, and all of us have to keep in mind. Having gone through, this Constitution has come into force way back in 1950. We have completed 72 years. We are in 70. Friends, in these 73 years, we have achieved something. Before going to the achievements, I want to tell one more aspect of purpose. During our freedom struggle, several questions came up before the people of this country. I don't want to go into all the questions. Prominently, I will only touch about 2 or 3 questions. One of the questions that came up for consideration before the people of this country during freedom struggle was, after India became independent, shall we make Mahatma Gandhi a Chakravarti, Nehru a Raja? This question came to be debated by the people of this country. They gave an answer. We don't want Samrats. We don't want Chakravartis. We don't want Raj Maharajas. Feudalism is to be abolished. Political power is to be transferred to the hands of people. This is how people's democracy seeds are sown during the freedom struggle. The second question that came up for consideration was, 80% of people in India are Hindus. Remaining 20%, all other religions. The Muslims, the Christians, the Buddhists, the Jains, the Sikhs, the Parsis, these people. A militant section from the Hindu raised a voice. After India became independent, we have to establish a Hindu Rashtra. This question was debated. They gave an answer. We came from different countries. We came from different nationalities. We came from different language formals. We came from for different purposes. We all lived together in this country. We have intermingled in this country. Therefore, in India, we don't want Hindu Rashtra. We don't want Islam Rashtra. We don't want Christ Rashtra. We don't want Sikh Rashtra. We want a secular state, was the answer given by the people of this. The third question that came up for consideration was, shall we build India on the basis of merit, on the basis of muscle power, on the basis of money power? People of this country debated this question. They said, India is a caste-ridden country. There is a caste inequality. For centuries, certain castes are deprived of basic rights. Water right is denied. Educational right is denied. Participation in administration denied. Participation in justice delivery system is denied. Even they are not allowed to enter the army. Therefore, certain basic rights are denied to large section of people. Therefore, they said, we don't want a meritorious society. We don't want a muscle power society. We don't want a money power society. We want a social justice society. This is how the philosophy of social justice was imbibed into the Indian Constitution. The fourth question that came up for consideration, shall we establish a government at the center, rule the entire country from Delhi? No. In particular region, there is particular language. For that language, there is a particular culture. With that culture, there are subcultures. Their needs are different. Their demands are different. Their priorities are different. Their challenges are different. In such a situation, it is not practical and it is not feasible to rule this country from Delhi. If that is not the case, shall we make Tamil speaking area as a country? Telugu speaking area as a country? Kannada speaking area as a country? No. If such a situation comes, there will be no India. Therefore, our elders debated this issue. Yes, we want a center. Same time, we want regional wise states. This is how the federal system came into existence in this country. This is how the federalism, this is how the secularism, this is how the social justice, this is how the democracy finds a place in our constitution. And this constitution has come into implementation in the last 72 years. We made certain achievements. You may ask, what are the achievements that we made? Without understanding what are the achievements of Indian Constitution, it is not possible to understand how to save the Constitution. Before 1947, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, this entire land mass was never brought into one political role. Even excluding the Britishers, in 1947, there were 600 independent princes ruling different parts of the country. We abolished feudalism. We abolished monarchy. We fixed a boundary to this entire land mass. We gave a constitution, a national flag, a national anthem, and a national symbol. Real India is created only after India became independent under the Indian Constitution, not earlier. This is the biggest achievements of Indian Constitution. We abolished feudalism, but we have built democratic institutions. We have established a parliament which enacts laws for the entire country. We have established state assemblies which enacts laws for the state. Legislative bodies, central government, state government, district administration, taluka administration, grama panchayat, executive bodies, Supreme Court, High Court, District Court, Taluka Court, judicial institutions. These are the democratic institutions that we have built after India became republic. 140 crore population of this country are directly or indirectly participating in day-to-day affairs of these democratic institutions. This is no small achievement, my friends. In 1947, when India became independent, our literacy rate was less than 18%. Today we have taken up to 80%. Then the poverty line, 70% of the people were below poverty line in 1947. Today we brought down to 20%. Then our agriculture production was only 50 million tons per year. Today we have taken up to 305 million tons. Then we were importing food. Today we are exporting food. We provided roads, lights, drinking water facility, health facility. In this way, we have improved the living conditions of the people. This is no small achievement. In addition to that, the Dalits, the women, the minorities are treated in this country as secondary-rate citizens. They were subjected to exploitation. But after India became independent, please remember, Indian Republic has seen a Dalit president. Today, a scheduled tribe woman is the president of India. A Dalit deputy prime minister, chief ministers, central ministers, ambassadors, governors. Like this, we have all fields, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and Dalits and minorities have entered. IPS officers, IAS officers, IS officers, they have entered into executive. Jilla Parishad, Taluka Panchayat, Grama Panchayat, they have entered. With that, women also have entered. In judiciary, you have seen a Dalit Chief Justice of India. In several state Chief Justices, even district and taluka level judiciary, women, minorities and Dalits have substantially entered. This is no small achievement. If this has been possible, this has been possible because of the Indian Constitution. It is not just that. In the field of information technology, space technology, atomic energy, agriculture production, Indian service sector, Indian defense, in many number of ways, India is one among the top 10 in the world. If that has been achieved, that is because of the reason of the Indian Constitution. I used to tell to the college students, what is the holy grantha to Hindus? What is the holy book for Hindus? Bhagavad Gita. For Muslims? For Christians? For Sikhs? Yes. Guru Grantha. For all these Indians, which is the holy text? Indian Constitution. Therefore, my friends, having achieved these achievements, you must remember that despite all these achievements, country is facing both problems and challenges. There are illiterates, nearly 20%. Agriculture crisis, industrial crisis, unemployment, poverty, houselessness, all these problems we are facing. I am confident. I am an optimistic. I am not a pessimistic. We can solve these problems in few years, subject to if we all work together. If we work little more, if we make use of scientific achievements, if we bring about certain reforms in our governance and in our policy, with these, I am confident that we can solve our problems in few years. But country is facing challenges. If we don't combat these challenges, it is not possible to save the constitution. It is not possible to save the country. Therefore, the challenges are more. Some time back, maybe about 15 years back, when I wrote a book, Challenges Before the Constitution, I identified terrorism, fundamentalism, communalism, corruption, criminalization, cultural degeneration are the challenges before the country. Even now, these challenges are continuing. If we don't combat these challenges, we cannot save the constitution and we cannot save the country. If we allow these challenges to grow and dominate our society, we will put an end to democracy. Anarchy will prevail. In an anarchical system, I told in an audience like lawyers like you in Karnataka in Bangalore city, that if an anarchy comes, first target will be the judges like me. All the lawyers were laughing, let these judges be arrested. The next target will be lawyers, please remember. Therefore, we don't want an anarchical system. Therefore, we have to combat these challenges. While telling this, combat these challenges, please remember, I don't want to elaborate on these challenges like terrorism, communalism and etc. But today, we are facing much more important challenges. Most important challenges that we are facing in the constitution is our electoral system. Elections are being fought on the basis of religion, caste, money and muscle power. Now we have to debate, find out a way that how to free the election process from this. I have got statistics to tell you that in the present parliament, that is 19th Lok Sabha, 82% elected parliament members, according to the affidavits filed by them, are crorepathi's. 43% are facing criminal charges, and some of them, nearly 20% and above, are facing serious criminal charges. If they are convicted, they have to face sentence of either death sentence or life sentence. These are our parliament members. 54% of parliament members are having a background of hereditary family background. My grandfather was a parliament member, my father is a parliament member, now I am parliament member. Hereditary background, industrial background, real estate background, black marketers background. This is the situation of Indian parliament. That is the reason why in parliament, people's issues are not being debated at all. Emotional issues are being debated. Government of India appointed Swaminathan Commission. In 2012, we submitted a report. 10 years is over. Till today, the Parliament has no time to open that report and place it before the Parliament and debate either to accept or reject. Agriculture crisis is not being debated. Industrial crisis is not being debated. Attacks on Dalits are not being debated. Atrocities on women is not being debated. This is the type of parliament that we are giving. Is it not a challenge? Honest people, people having concern to the nation and society, if they contest elections, they are losing deposits. People having more criminal cases, declaring more assets of wealth, they are winning the elections with big margins. This is the system. It did not stop there. Alphonse referred to it, the incident of Goa. Goa incident is not something new. 2 years back in Karnataka, there was a coalition government. They had the majority. Election did not held, but majority government lost majority. How? 17 members in the majority government tendered resignation. At our cost, a by-election was held. 15 members got re-elected. A minority government gets majority. Majority governments become minority. I am telling you, if you see the Goa incident, a day has commenced. Please remember this. Some political parties in hereafterwards, they will not contest elections. They will only buy the elected members. If this can happen in Goa, why not in Karnataka? Why not in Tamil Nadu? Why we have to fight elections? You fight your election. You spend your money. You struggle. One fine day, we will pay you some crores and buy. This is the type of, with this type of parliamentary democracy, is it possible for us to save the constitution? This is where my concern is there. We are having two laws, that is Representation of People's Act and Anti-Defection Act. These two laws have failed to protect, control the electoral malpractices. Therefore, a time has come where we are required to debate to enact a new law where elections are to be freed from the influence of religion, caste, money and muscle power. We have to put an end to these type of malpractices. This is the biggest challenge that we are facing. On that score, we are all required to debate and we have to emerge a strong opinion. In our constitution, we have given fundamental rights. Part 3 of the constitution, Article 12 to Article 31, we have given freedom of settlement, freedom of expression, freedom to religion, freedom to profession, freedom to travel, freedom to association, freedom to assemble. Like that we have given certain. We enjoyed these rights for the last 73 years. But what is today? You cannot express a dissenting view. You cannot criticize the government. You cannot question the government. If you do so, you will be arrested either UPA Act or under the sedition. You will put behind the bars. No charge sheet, no inquiry, no trial, no bail. They did not stop there. In the name of encounters, they are killing. It is not just denying the basic rights. You have seen, read, and it is fresh in all of your memory how Sten Swami died. This is the situation. They didn't stop there. In UP, when a person participated in a democratic protest, bulldozers were rolled on his house. Useless fellow, you go and protest against the government? Look here, this is the punishment. They rolled the bulldozers and dismantled his house. And several chief ministers in this country are proclaiming that we will implement that in our states, including Karnataka. This is where what we have enjoyed for the last 73 years, we are losing this. Tell me one city in this country which is free from a mafia. One city in this country. In several cities, there are hundreds of mafias. They are selling their products like vegetables in the market. If I cut your head, this is the rate. If I bring that head to your door, this is the rate. If I cut your hand, this is the rate. If I cut your leg, this is the rate. If I take away your life, this is the rate. They are selling their products and services like vegetables in the market, but no control. A person who killed the farmers by driving a vehicle, people have to go to Supreme Court. Is it the rule of law? At one point of time, king is the law. But today in a democratic, constitutional country, law is the king. But unfortunately, now again we are going back to king is the law. This we have to remember. In such a situation, mafias in and around us, hundreds of mafias, different type of mafias. Is it possible constitution and mafias simultaneously existing and continuing together? Friends, it is not just democratic institutions are being day by day making dysfunction. Take for example judiciary. All the speakers mentioned about the judiciary. I also belong to family of judiciary. We are all of you are belonging to the family of judiciary. As a law student, as a law teacher, as a lawyer, as judge, and after retirement as a judge, as a senior advocate of the Supreme Court, I enjoyed this family. This family has given me anything. Today, I am in the sorry state of affairs today. Indian judiciary is facing three types of challenges. There is internal threat, there is external force, and there is slavery of traditionalism. All these three are working in this system. In addition to these things, I don't want to elaborate. Please remember, internal threat for independence of judiciary. If one bench passes one judgment and late days a law, is it not the duty of other bench to follow it? But they are not following it. They are not overruling it. They are not referring to the higher bench, but simply ignoring. There is external threat. What is the external threat? They deny you the appointments. If Supreme Court recommends certain names, then they will not approve it. They delay it. They return it unpolitical. If some judges retire, on the next day they will get the appointment. Some other post-retirement appointments. These are all the things that are happening. With priority, certain issues are to be decided. They are not doing. The challenge to UPA Act is pending before the Supreme Court for the last 10 years. Supreme Court has not got no time. Sedition law is pending before the Supreme Court. No time. Article 370 abrogation is before the Supreme Court. No time. Citizenship Amendment Act is pending before the Supreme Court. Supreme Court has no time. Yes, today you have seen the papers. During the regime of present Chief Justice, 4,000 cases are settled in 1 week. Why not these cases, sir? This is the situation. It is not just the democratic institutions like these. Whether you take it Reserve Bank of India, Election Commission of India, CBI, Enforcement Directorate. How these institutions? I was telling in one of the functions in Karnataka. When I was youth, when I was working in youth movement, I used to make certain speeches with regard to youth problems. There I saw this gas stoves, kerosene stoves. Before this gas comes, we had kerosene stoves. These kerosene stoves used to burst. They only burst in husband's house. Why not in parents' house? Today, only opposition party, political leaders' houses are being raided, not the ruling party. Or there are no culprits, corrupt people in the ruling regime? This is the way the democratic institutions are being weakened day by day. Constitution is, if it is to be required to save it, we have to protect these institutions. Without that, it is not possible. Friends, fundamentalism and communalism is dominating everything. It has entered the politics. It has entered the police. It has entered the administration. Every walk of life, this fundamentalism and communalism. This fundamentalism and communalism are dictating, issuing firmans, what to wear, what to eat, how to walk, how to behave, how many children we have to give birth. This is how the fundamental forces and communal forces are dictating the terms. They are rising. And the era has begun that government started enacting the laws on the dictum of fundamental forces and communal forces. This is where exactly we are facing challenge. We have to check these things. Unless we check these fundamental and communal forces, it is not possible to secure and safeguard the, what we call it as, secular fabric of the country. One of the basic features of the Indian Constitution, as specified by Keshavananda Bharati by the Supreme Court, is welfare state. What is meant by welfare state? More and more responsibility to the government to cater to the common man's need. What is my common man's need? My food, my clothing, my education, my health, my employment, my housing, my transport. But government is distancing from all these things. Everything is privatized. Water is privatized. Transport is privatized. Health is privatized. Education is privatized. Government is telling providing employment is not our job. For everything they are thinking that privatization is the medicine. A day may come, I am surprised. I am telling you, please remember after some time. A day may come, the government may think that it is not possible to run a parliament, therefore we will outsource it to Ambanis. It is not possible to run assemblies, we will outsource it to Adanis. This is the direction in which we are. The whole concept of welfare state is being dismantled. Take for example human rights. When United Nations organizations declared human rights on December 10, 1948, we were preparing our constitution. We were drafting our constitution. It made an impact on us. We imbibed some of the fundamental rights in our constitution. All the rights specified under part 3 of the constitution are all human rights, please remember. In the last 73 years, we have seen Human Rights Act is passed. Human Rights Commissions at the national level. Human Rights Commission at the state level. We have judgments, 1,000 judgments I can quote, Supreme Court delivered on human rights. But today, have you heard any news any time regarding National Human Rights Commission behavior? State Human Rights Act action? No. Even Supreme Court is going back on protecting the human rights. This is where the country is facing these challenges. Unless we face these challenges, we combat these challenges, encounter these challenges, it is not possible, my friends, to safeguard our Indian Constitution. If we lose our Constitution, then we will lose our democracy. We lose our secularism. We lose our social justice. We lose our federal setup. Anarchy will prevail. Then we have to live like slaves. If you want such a situation, then keep quiet. Otherwise, you have to raise your voice. While raising your voice, you have to understand the correct perspective of our Constitution. Alphonse said, yes, it is not a holy cow. We have already subjected this Constitution by amending it 105 times. Article 368 provides for amending the Constitution. We have amended 105 times. Even now, we can improve this Constitution by amending the Constitution. What type of amendments we require? We require amendments where right to education be a fundamental right, right to health be a fundamental right, right to employment be a fundamental right, right to food be a fundamental right. Such a type of amendments is required. Through these amendments, we have to develop the Constitution, improve the Constitution, make update to relevant to the today's need. In this way, we have to move this Constitution forward to a higher level. In addition to that, we have committed a mistake in not properly understanding what is our Constitution. For the last 73 years of Republic of India, we have only debated democracy means holding elections regularly once in 5 years. Every person who is above age 18 years is entitled to exercise his vote. He can exercise his vote of choice of his choice. Whoever gets majority, they will form the government. This is what we have debated in the last 72 years. According to me, under the Indian Constitution, democracy means and includes political democracy, economic democracy, and social democracy. Unfortunately, we've only debated about political democracy. We never bothered to debate about economic democracy and social democracy. A time has come where we have to debate economic democracy and social democracy and link to the political democracy. That is the reason when election comes, emotional issues dominate. Issues relating to life is not dominating. When election comes, mandir issue comes, masjid issue comes, conversion issue comes, love jihadi comes, Amendment Act comes, Kargil war comes. Are hungry, no debate. Unemployment, no debate. Illiteracy, no debate. Lack of health facility, no debate. Agriculture crisis, industrial crisis, labor problem, no debate. Therefore, my friends, I appeal to all of you, please understand democracy means political democracy, economic democracy, and social democracy. We have to simultaneously debate on these issues. We have to link with each other. Then only we have to give a redefinition about democracy. Similarly, we have committed a mistake. What is secularism? Wherever I go in Karnataka state, in my campaign on constitution, teachers and students told me only one answer. That one answer was, what is meant by secularism means equal treatment of all religions. Oh, nice, sir. Oh, galat hai. Equal treatment of all religions is not secularism. Then what is secularism? Separation of religion from politics is secularism. State shall not have its own religion is secularism. State shall not discriminate among religions is secularism. State shall not enact laws on the basis of firmans of any religious prescriptions. That is secularism. Secularism is not anti-religion. Please remember this. Then what is religion? All religions at the commencement of their birth have taken their birth with a noble object to address the human problems, to solve the human problems, to wipe out the tears from every eye. Therefore, we need not be anti-religious. But when religion is undemocratized, that leads to fundamentalism. I give one example. 92% population in Kashmir Valley are Muslims. But Kashmiri women do not wear burqa. Muslim fundamentalists and terrorists are now giving dhamki to the girls there to wear burqa. Against the will of Muslim girls in Kashmir Valley, they are imposing to wear burqa. This is undemocratization. Sometime back in Kerala, maybe about 3 decades back, one religious head, a religion called Bora, a religious head, he gave a farman. All men should wear a cap in our community. One person said, I don't wear. Then the religious guru said, you outcast him. Yes, you can outcast him. What do you do with his wife? Children, parents, brothers and sisters. This is how imposing something against the will of a person, dividing the families and giving punishment for not obeying it is fundamentalism. What we require to oppose is not the religion but fundamentalism. This type of undemocratization, it is not just only in Islam. It is there in Christianity, it is there in Hinduism, it is there in Buddhism, it is there in Sikhism. Whatever form of fundamentalism, we have to oppose it. Then what is communalism? Communalism means religion mixes with politics. That cocktail produces called communalism. A ruler, a person, maybe a king, maybe a prime minister, maybe a chief minister. He has to work for you, address your problems, solve your problems, attend to your problems, and earn your confidence and continue to rule in the seat. For various reasons, he will not do it. then people will agitate. Then agitate to ask him to get out from the seat. Then that king or mantri or prime minister or chief minister, he will go behind Swamiji and says, you protect. The Swamiji comes before the people and says, for all your problems, it is not the king, it is your papa, your punya, your karma. It is God's, curse. This is how religion mixes with politics. If religion mixes with politics, it produces communalism. Therefore, we need not be anti-religious. We must oppose religion being communalized, religion being undemocratized. That is the understanding that we require. With this message, we have to go to the people. Let us raise our voice and protect our constitution and protect our country. Thank you very much.